What if you were told that ancient wisdom traditions hold a key, a profound insight that reshapes our view of what happens to awareness when the body is returned to the elements through fire? These teachings, preserved through time, offer a perspective that, once deeply understood, can bring a sense of profound peace to one of our greatest human questions. Before we explore these transformative insights together, I invite you to quiet your mind, to be open. Perhaps share in the thoughts below any moment of deep connection you have felt that transcends simple explanation. Today, we will explore 3 foundational insights from this deep well of wisdom. First, what truly happens to your field of awareness during this process of purification by fire? Second, why the timing of this sacred act is more significant than we often realize. And third, the beautiful connection between this return to the elements and the soul's continuing journey. But there is an understanding that may bring a stillness to your own mind. When one inquires from a place of deep stillness whether a soul experiences distress during this process, the insight that emerges is so clarifying that it has brought comfort to countless hearts. This is not based on speculation. It comes from a space of deep seeing, from what some traditions call a universal record of life itself. Think of it as a river of consciousness containing every feeling, every journey, and every lesson of every life that has ever been. By tapping into this quiet river, we can find clarity on the great mysteries of life, transition, and what lies beyond. Now, here is where the perspective deepens. Ancient teachings explain that consciousness does not experience physical sensation through the body after its departure, but it reveals something that forever changes our understanding of this transition. There is what can be described as a gentle period of echo, a borderland state where awareness maintains a subtle resonance with its physical vessel. This period can last for some time, as the soul gently acclimates to a new way of being, a new freedom. Here is the insight. During this time, the awareness can perceive what is happening to the form it once inhabited, but not as we know physical feeling. It is more like a distant memory, a gentle dream, like observation. From a space of deep awareness, when asked if this process hinders the soul's journey, the answer is transformative. This practice of returning the body to the elements can actually aid the soul in releasing its tether to the physical realm more completely than a slow return to the earth. The fire, in this view, is a powerful symbol and an energetic catalyst, aiding the soul's passage toward lighter, freer states of being. But here lies an insight that many overlook. The timing holds great significance. It is thought that if this process occurs too hastily after death, perhaps in the first few cycles of the sun, the soul may experience a sense of disorientation, not suffering, but a gentle confusion. This occurs because the stream of consciousness is still in the final stages of separating from its earthly vessel. Consider this image, a traveler who begins a new journey too abruptly, before fully realizing they have left their home. For those whose passing is sudden, awareness often requires a longer moment to comprehend what has transpired and to complete its sacred uncoupling from physical life. And here is the truly beautiful part. We are told that this gentle disorientation is temporary and that your prayers, your loving thoughts, are like a gentle breeze guiding them, helping them find their way. Many have found that after offering these thoughts, their own feelings of unrest cease, replaced by a sense of profound peace. This brings us to an even more profound truth about this process and our path of rebirth. Across many wisdom teachings, it is understood that how we care for the physical form after its use can influence our next journey, but not in a mechanical way. It is shared that a return by fire, when approached with careful timing and sacred intent, actually helps the soul to unbind itself from what are called earthly attachments. These are the deep emotional and mental currents that can hold an awareness focused on the material plane, rather than progressing to a higher state of learning. Here is where this becomes truly powerful for your own spiritual growth. It is not the method of farewell that dictates our next chapter, but the clarity and spiritual growth of the soul itself. However, a remarkable insight has been shared. Souls who consciously embrace this return to the elements as an expression of their path often show a deep understanding of the transient nature of things, which helps them journey more freely between lifetimes. And yet, there is another transformative insight about consciousness and this great transition. Ancient spiritual maps describe that awareness doesn't simply leave the body. It flows through what could be called several gates of passage. Fire, it is said, helps illuminate the way through these passages by releasing the physical anchor that holds our focus to the material world. Let me share with you these stages of passage, for to understand them is to change how you perceive life itself. The first passage occurs at the final breath as the river of consciousness begins to diverge from its physical banks. This is described as awakening from a very long dream, realizing the physical form is no longer needed to simply be. The second is a time of reflection. In this space, the soul gently reviews the journey it has just completed, not with judgment, but as a student, seeing the spiritual lessons held within its experiences. The third passage is a point of choosing. Here, the soul decides whether to flow forward into higher dimensions or to remain near the familiar shores of the earthly realm, often due to strong attachments. This is where the purification of fire becomes a significant spiritual aid. The flame acts as a symbolic gateway, helping the awareness move through the later passages with greater ease. But here is what may truly bring you peace regarding this path. When one asks from a place of deep listening if this process affects a soul's connection to those still here, the answer counters a common fear. It is understood that this practice can actually clarify the channels of connection because it releases the energetic bond to a single, decaying physical point. When the body is returned to the earth, part of the soul's resonance can remain tethered to that physical spot as it slowly changes. This can create a kind of static for our loving connection. But with the purification of fire, the soul's essence is completely liberated, allowing for a clearer, more boundless connection through your heart, your quiet moments, and your dreams. Imagine a family guided not by fear, but by the inner wisdom of their departed loved one, choosing this path because the soul wished to be free from all tethers, to better guide and comfort them from a place of pure spirit. Often, within a short time, this family begins to feel a presence that is not only at peace, but is actively and lovingly watching over them. Now for the most profound insight about this process. It is taught that this sacred fire acts as a spiritual cleansing, helping the soul shed not just its connection to the physical, but also the emotional and mental patterns that no longer serve its highest evolution. Think of it like this. When your old robes are worn and no longer fit, you let them go with gratitude. This path helps the soul gratefully return its physical form to the universe, keeping only the love and the lessons that will aid its growth on the continuing journey. This is why it is often seen as a fitting choice for those who have lived lives dedicated to inner development and to the service of others. Their souls are ready to release their hold on physical reality and move forward with grace in their spiritual evolution. But what of the deep fear that many of us hold around this? Ancient wisdom addresses this directly. The fear comes from a simple misunderstanding of our true nature. We fear that the fire will somehow diminish or unmake the soul. But consciousness, you see, is entirely distinct from the physical form. A beautiful teaching uses an analogy. The relationship between your awareness and your body is like a bird and its nest. When the bird flies from the nest, it does not cease to be simply because the nest one day returns to the earth. In the same way, when your awareness leaves the body, it continues, whole and untouched, regardless of what becomes of the physical form. Here is a reflection for your own journey. It is understood that those who cultivate a strong inner practice during their lives, through stillness, through compassion, through serving others, experience the great transition in a very different light than those focused solely on the material world. For these souls, this passage is often felt as a joyful homecoming rather than a painful separation. For them, a return by fire becomes a celebration, a graduation from the school of earthly existence. The greatest preparation for your own transition is not to fear it, but to live each day with awakened awareness and a heart of service. It is said that souls who cultivate their inner light and use it to help others find the passage effortless. Whether their path involves a return to fire or a return to the earth, ancient teachings also offer a fascinating perspective on the timing of our departure. They suggest that on a deeper level, our souls have a voice in choosing when and how they will leave the physical form. This means that if you feel drawn to this path of fire, it might be your own deeper self, knowing this will aid your journey onward. Now, here is how this connects to your spiritual path right now. Understanding the nature of this transition is not merely about preparing for a distant future. It is about understanding the nature of consciousness itself and using that wisdom to live a more liberated life today. Those who understand the beautiful, temporary nature of physical life are more able to focus on cultivating their true gifts and serving the world. They are also far more likely to experience peace and joy in their daily lives because they are not held captive by the fear of its ending. The most essential thing to understand about this path is that the choice itself, fire or earth, is less important than the awareness and the love behind it. What matters above all is that the decision is made from a place of love, spiritual clarity, and deep respect for the soul's continuing journey. Family members who choose this for a loved one with the intention of aiding their spiritual progress actually contribute to that progress through the power of their focused, loving thoughts. This brings us to a profound practice for you today. To meditate on the nature of consciousness helps you develop what we might call inner sight, the ability to perceive the spiritual heart of existence while still in this form. A simple practice is to spend a few moments each day contemplating the fleeting nature of the physical and the eternal nature of awareness itself. This, it is said, helps us to live with more grace and less fear. Here is something that can help you on your journey right now. Souls who accept the reality of a continuing journey and the persistence of consciousness often find a deeper sense of peace and purpose in their present lives. You can understand that every experience, every relationship, every challenge is a profound opportunity for spiritual growth. This view allows us to meet life's difficulties with greater wisdom and compassion. Instead of being overcome by temporary struggles, we can see them as sacred lessons for our soul's evolution. Here is how you can apply these teachings to your practice today. First, spend time in stillness, simply observing the nature of your own awareness and its relationship to your body. This helps you cultivate clarity and lessen your attachment to worldly concerns. Second, practice sending loving thoughts to those who have passed, no matter their path. This love is a real force that aids them on their journey and strengthens the unbreakable bond between souls. Third, use this understanding to live more fully in this moment. When you truly see that consciousness is eternal and the physical is temporary, you can focus on what is real, your inner growth, and how you bring that to the world. Finally, consider how your own views on life and its transitions shape your daily path. A deep fear of the end often keeps us from fully sharing our spiritual gifts and living with our true purpose. The truth about consciousness and its journey, as held by ancient wisdom, offers us a profound gift: the understanding that this great transition is not an end, but a transformation. This knowledge can free you from fear and help you to live with a deeper awareness and a clearer purpose. As we conclude this reflection, I wish to leave you with this final thought. The journey of the soul is eternal. Every experience, including this great transition, is an opportunity for growth and for returning to our true nature. Whether you feel drawn to a path of fire or a path of earth for yourself or for those you love, what matters most is that the choice is made with love, with wisdom, and with a deep trust in the soul's unending journey toward the light. If this perspective has brought some quiet to your heart, I invite you to walk this path of discovery with us. Share this reflection with others who might find comfort in these profound spiritual insights. Your sharing helps this stream of wisdom reach those who may need it. And leave a reflection below. Tell me your own thoughts on consciousness and its unending journey. I am here to listen. Remember, we are all spiritual beings having a human experience, and death is simply a doorway to the next chapter of our soul's eternal life. Understanding this truth can transform not only how we see our end, but how we choose to live every precious day.